Hey mom and dad, or whoever's watching this, here's the chickens that are outside right now. They've been outside for a few days and they're doing fine. So far no predators has got them or anything like that, so we're leaving them like this for right now, but we still are going to build a fence over there by their chicken coop at some point. But anyway, the gutters here are down from when we had the ice and snow. So I got new gutters and they'll be fixed tomorrow. Me and Angel's gonna climb up there again and brace them better. I think we've had them braced pretty good last time. It's just the ice just pretty much killed them. So this is the piping that was coming from them going to the back. All the way back here. To the tanks. And these gutters were damaged, but not damaged that bad, so I was able to fix them and still get some water when it's been raining lately. There's how much water that's in these tanks. I've got them all hooked up to those 3/4 inch piping to each one, so that way they even out somewhat. I had the tall one there. It holds just as much as the small ones. It's just taller instead of wide. I had it evened out, but I guess because of the rain and all that we've had, it's kind of on the back corner. It's kind of sunk down a little bit. So at some point I'll probably have to fix it. Right now it's no big deal, but as you can see, now all this 3/4 inch piping that you see here that is hooked up to every one of them, all that piping was already on this place, so I did not have to buy any of it, only the connections. The connections are shark bites. And the reason why I went with shark bites is they are good. I've only ever had one issue one time with a shark bite connection. I've used them for years. And the one time I did, you can use them on copper or PEX. And when I used it on copper one time, I didn't clean the copper up as good as I thought, and it leaked, so I had to take it back off, fix it, and it took care of the problem. But shark bites are a real good option. These I like better. These are the rings. You got to have a tool to clamp down these rings, and it seems like they fit better and tighter. And the tool that I got was I got it years ago. I think back then it was about $60 something, but now you can get them a little bit cheaper. So that's why you see all the different color PEX, because all this PEX that you see here came from this property. Didn't have to buy any of it, none of it, the 3/4 inch. Now the reason why that there's a space out here is because you see I've got a tank there. I've got, if you can see, tanks down there. I've got more tanks on this property that I need to hook up. So that was my first one. What I'm wanting to do to it is, I think I set it too high. So what I want to do is pump the water out of it, shut it off because it's got its own valve, shut it off, pump the water out of it, and lower it one more brick or one more cinder block. But I have spaces that I can fit about 2 more here, and then from there probably go around to this back side and start lining them up along the back. And the reason why I made them temporarily is because at some point I want to have a big 5,000 gallon tank or 2, but they're so expensive These are cheaper, and people use them on farms anyway for cattle or homesteading or whatever. So that's what they look like right now. I do fill all of them up, or not fill them up, but I do add bleach, which I keep under right there. I add bleach to all of them. I just bleached them again this morning because we had a good rainstorm last night. So since we did, I went ahead and put more bleach in them. And like I showed you before, these trenches, this is a pretty deep trench here. This is before I found out you didn't have to dig so deep. So you only have to dig a foot, but actually they're more than a foot deep. I want to just make sure that they're not going to freeze up in the wintertime. Also, these PEX pipings are rated to where they don't freeze under negative 14 below zero, I think. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But way PEX started out as is, and they still use them today in heating your floors in your home, and they also use them to heat driveways with, to keep ice and stuff off the wintertime. So at some point somebody come up with the idea years ago and started using them in plumbing because they were so reliable and they don't freeze like copper does. So that's one reason why I went with PEX, even though they're bare right now and I can bury them like that and they're supposed to be fine. I have insulation that I am going to be wrapping around them anyway, just to be on the safe side. So that way, if something happens and they do freeze, I ain't got to dig them back up and then do the insulation. I'm going to do the insulation before I bury them. I'm going to do two types of insulation. One of them's kind of looks like those tubes that look like pool noodles, and then wrap insulation tape around them. And I think I've covered all that right here. That trench right there, I'm going to have to dig a little more to get it up, because the piping from this cabin is going to go from this cabin to this cabin for the bathroom in there that we're currently using. And I showed you this. My next project right now is to put an outdoor shower in. It's starting to get warmer outside, so I'm going to go ahead and do an outdoor shower. And we're going to get started on it tomorrow. I'm going to get some gravel and stuff for the base to sit on. And I need to dig this out to make this more even. That way it'll be straight up and down instead of being crooked like it is. So let's go inside the shed and I'll show you what we got going on in there. And there's more chickens. Seems like they like to follow me around. So this is our main cabin, or our living cabin that is not done. This is the 12 by 40 cabin. There's the AC system that's hopefully going to be fixed this weekend. We've got everything for it now. Everything finally came in. It took 2 months just to get the Freon and everything in. They said it was because of all the snow and weather we've had, but that's fine. I understand. Okay, over here is this breaker box, this cabin that works this cabin and all of the mini splits. Now here is the vanity that we'll be using, and it's going to go up against that wall. So got everything measured out correctly, and that's where my pumps and filters are. So that way it'll be hidden by the vanity, but I could still have access to the filters when I need to clean them out. So as you see, here's the main line that it comes into. And don't pay any attention to the color. Like I said, this was all found on the property. So I'm not worried about the color coming in as much as it is when I start hooking things up to hot and cold water for different things like the sinks, bathtubs, stuff like that. So that is the main line coming in. I've got it mounted right there. It goes into a 200 spin down filter, and as you can see, it's already gotten some stuff in from the tanks that was in it. I think more of it come from, because there's a leaf in there too, I think that more of it come from when I was working outside and it's been so muddy that some of the pipes were getting dirt in them or mud. And so what I would do is I would try to clean out all the mud I can, and I think a lot of it more was just cleaning out the mud, and then it's ended up in this first spin down filter. It's a sediment filter that's 200, and this will be braced even better than what it is. I don't like it that it just sits there. I wish it mounted better. So what I'm going to do is I got some straps to mount it better on there. And all this does is screw out. I like that you can see through it. Then from there, from this, it goes to a small filter that it came with the pump. This is about the biggest pump that I could find, and it puts out, I think, 6.5 gallons a minute, which is I was kind of worried about it, but once I got everything hooked up, I mean, it really sprays out really well. So I don't think it has it's going to have a problem traveling to the next cabin. The other cabin, I've got a pump just like it, and I'm putting the main cabin that's going to be the kitchen and the living room. I've got a pump just like it, and I'm hooking up filters and this pump here that's just like it to that cabin, because I'm afraid it just might not have enough power to make it all the way down there. So I'm hooking it up separately, but it's still connected to the same tanks out there. So it's going to have, and the only thing that's going to be operated in the kitchen anyway is just the kitchen sink. After it goes through this filter here, which, as you can see, I don't know if you can see real good, it don't really have anything in it. It's a 500 mesh spin down filter. It's to help keep even more debris from getting into your appliances, things like that. Over here is an accumulator, aerator, however, whatever you want to call it. It's very small, and what it does is when you turn your water on, it keeps it from spraying on and off. It applies pressure to the water even more to where you get a steady stream instead of it just kind of like spitting out, if you know what I'm talking about. And so that's what it does. I did look into a bigger one, but bigger ones really didn't have good reviews on them, and they were metal, and I thought a bigger one would be better. Well, people were complaining about them, so I decided to go with the small one because people had a lot of good reviews on these. And besides, if it ever goes out, you can see that there's an air where you could just hook up a bicycle pump or whatever to air it up if you need to, if it ever leaks air. But if I ever need to change it, the thing's only $20. So, I mean, if it gets me by for a couple of years or longer or whatever, it's just 20 bucks to replace. I'm not really worried about it because all I gotta do is just unscrew it and screw the other one back on. That comes, now from there, I don't have the other pump that I was telling you about hooked up. From all that does, all those pumps do, or the filters do, is get out sediment from getting into your appliances, making your water dirty, things like that. And from there, outside here is where the outside spigot is. And from here, that's where it reduces down from 3/4 to 1/2 inch. Now, the reason why is because in your house, I'm sure you already know this, is that everything is pretty much 1/2 inch until you get to the sinks. You use 1/2 inch all the way to the sinks, and then it converts down to 3/8. So the only thing I'm missing here, from right here to here, which I left enough room, all I got to do is separate this and put the pump, or not the other pump, but the other filter right here. And it's this filter that I was showing you in the pictures. The filter that I originally got, I was reading more on it, and it didn't get out all the stuff from the water that I really wanted it to get out. Even though I put bleach in them, and that kills, supposedly, it's supposed to kill everything, 99% of everything it says. Germs, parasites, things like that. The filter that I'm getting, if you read on there, it gets out the chlorine smell, or the bleach smell, the bleach taste. Also, it's extra, it gets out parasites. Also, just in case if parasites happen to slip through everything that I'm doing, it's still going to get out all the parasites. Basically, it makes your water drinkable. You can brush your teeth with it, all that stuff. So, I think that's all I have right now. I know this is 17 minutes worth of stuff, but so today we've got to go get some things, go get the gutters, stuff like that, because tomorrow is going to be a big day. We're getting up early to put up the outdoor shower and to finish or replace the gutters that I was showing you. And then right in here this weekend, I am hooking up right here the hot water heater. I've already got it. I just need to install it. I'm going to put the hot water heater there. Next to it is going to be the washer and dryer. I'm going to hook it up over the weekend. So those two things will be functional over the weekend. Now the outdoor shower has its own heat source, which is propane. So, but I guess that's about it. Have any questions, let me know. Love you. Love y'all.